Hey everyone, so this is the third part of the test review for Unit 2, and it is on graphing linear functions and identifying the key features, the key parts of those functions on the graph. So the notes you're going to look at if you want to study are your 2.6 and 2.7 notes. So the first thing we're going to look at is question number 10. You do need to know your vocabulary for this. If you don't know what a zero is, you're not going to be able to get this problem right. What is the zero of f? F is just the name of this function. It titles that in the first sentence, the graph of linear function f is shown. So 0 means the x-intercept. So where our line touches the x-axis, which is right here. They might ask you to write it. It could be any of two ways. It could be just that it's 6. Or it could be written as a 0.60. That's how I tend to write it because it is a point. So I would say 60. So keep in mind that it's asking for the 0, which really means the x-intercept. Now in the second one, I'm actually asking you to graph it, or I gave you a graph because it's asking for a specific question. So let's read the situation. Hannah lit a candle. The height in inches of the candle can be found using this equation. So notice we should be able to graph this, right? This is our y-intercept. Just going to y-intercept, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and plot that on the y-axis. That's how we always start with graphing. And negative 0.4 is our slope, okay? Now it wants to know how long did it take the candle to reach a height of 0 inches. So right now the height is at 4 inches. When will it reach 0 inches? So basically, when will it touch the x-axis? We really want the x-intercept. That's what it's really ultimately asking for. But our slope is really weird for this problem. Our slope, it gives us, is negative 0.4. And so if it's a decimal, I need a rise and a run, and that makes it difficult. So go to your calculator. It could be the Desmos calculator, or it could be the Inspire calculator, okay? On the Inspire calculator, in one of the earlier videos, I showed you how to make a decimal into a fraction, but I'll show you again. Negative 0.4. Hit the menu button, and then hit number 2 for number. And we're trying to approximate to a fraction, so hit number 2 again, and then hit enter. It is negative 2/5. So our slope as a fraction is negative 2 over 5. So I'm going to go down 2 over 5. And then down 2 over 5. So here it is. And I notice I didn't put arrows. That's because we're talking about a candle here. It doesn't go on forever. It only started at 4 inches, and eventually it melted and melted and melted. And it took a total of 10, was it seconds or minutes? Let's see, right here, hours. It took 10 hours for it to melt. So our answer is 10 hours. Okay, our answer is 10 hours. That's how long it took for the candle to go from 4 inches to 0 inches. So this real world one was tricky, but keep in mind you can use the calculators to help you convert from a decimal to a fraction. If you are on the Desmos calculator, you would just type in negative 0.4, and you can see the button right here that will turn it into a fraction for you. Negative 2/5, just like earlier. Okay, except now is on this calculator instead. So let's look at 12 and 13. 12 and 13 should be pretty easy. At least 12 should be. On number 12, you're looking for the x-intercept, which is right here at 4, 0. That's the x-intercept. And then it also asks for the y-intercept, which is at 0, negative 3. Keeping in mind that the negative 3 does have to be second because it is the y-intercept. Y always goes second. And same thing for the x-intercept, it goes first because the x value goes first. Now let's remember how to graph. This one is already in y equals mx plus b, so it does make it easier, but on the test, some of them may not already be in y equals mx plus b. So 6 is where we start with because it's our y-intercept. So I'm going to go ahead and plot that point at 6 on the y-axis. Make sure you are not using the x-axis. And then this negative 1/2 is our slope. So it's a negative slope. We're decreasing 1 and we go to the right 2. We always start out going to the right. Now, if you're graphing digitally, it already gives you the line and you just have to move 2 of the points to the correct location, the y-intercept and the point just to the right of the y-intercept. Now, let's review the last 2 questions, 14 and 15. Now, 14 and 15 are quite interesting. They're both in standard form. One of them, I just want you to be able to convert, so you have practice. And number 15, you have to convert and then actually graph it. So that's what you would have to do on the test is number 15. Let's do 14 together, and then I'm going to pause it and let you try 15 on your own. So to remember, guys, when it's in standard form, we want to get it in y equals mx plus b form. Then it is easier for us to graph. So our goal is to solve for y. So we need to get rid of the x, minus 5x on both sides. So 5x minus 5x is 0. We've got negative 6y on the left. And on the right side, you can't subtract them because one is an x and one is not. So you can either write it as 9 minus 5x or negative 5x plus 9. It doesn't matter the order of the two. I tend to put the x first, and then the constant goes second. And it's positive, so I put a plus. The last step to get that y alone is to divide by the number in front of y. Divide all of them by that number. So the negative 6's cancel, leaving us with just y. And I can type in both of these numbers, the divisions, into my calculator, whether it is on the Inspire or on Desmos. So I'm going to type in negative 5 divided by negative 6. A negative divided by a negative made it positive. And then 9 divided by negative 6 is negative 3 over 2. So 5 over 6, positive now. And then 9 divided by negative 6 was negative 3 over 2. So I just wrote it as minus 3 over 2. And remembering that the number in front of the x is the slope. And the number that's not is the y-intercept. And notice that it's not always a nice, pretty whole number. Sometimes the y-intercept is a decimal or a fraction. So pause the video and try number 15 on your own. You're going to have to solve it for y and then actually graph it. Okay, give it a try. Okay, guys, there is your last one. I solved for y minusing the 3x and then dividing everything by negative 2, which gave me a slope of positive 3 over 2 and a y-intercept of negative 9, which is where I started. I started by plotting the negative 9 on the y-axis, and I rised 3, run 2, rise 3, run 2, over and over, and then drew my line. Remember, guys, you can watch these videos as much as you need to, and to study all your notes from Unit 2, okay? Good luck on your test tomorrow.